Small changes, but a big impact. Oh my goodness. So in this video, I want to go over 7 small changes that I think will have a significant impact on the game. I may have a medium video and then a large overhaul video of changes that I wish to happen in the game. Before I continue, let me just say this. Yes, I understand that the game isn't out. Yes, I understand that the gameplay we've seen is very limited. I understand that. But that's the point. The whole point of you putting out critiques or comments or reviews of what you've seen thus far is that you do it before the game comes out. It makes no sense after the game comes out because there's nothing they can do. If you do it before the game comes out, maybe they can heed some of the community's advice just as they did with Spider-Man 1. A lot of the neat stuff, including the tricks, is because of people like me. People who came out was like, hey, can you add this? Can you add that? Can you add this? And then you leave it to Insomniac to pick and choose what they can do, give them the time and the manpower that they have to implement those features. So yes, I understand. Moving forward, number 1 on my list is going to be something very simple. Very, very simple. That is going to be suit damage, okay? Very simple, but I think it has a significant impact, especially in storytelling. I understand they're not going to have day and night cycles, okay? I had to let that go, okay? It's been confirmed they're not having day and night cycles. I don't know what it is with Insomniac and not wanting day and night cycles in a game. They keep talking about how we're using the sun and the moon and the night and the day as a storytelling device and yada yada. I'm like, you can do the same thing, okay? With day and night cycles. Nevertheless, that's not there, so it is what it is. Maybe we'll get it in the 3rd game. However, when it comes to suit damage, I think that in itself can also be used as a storytelling device. But also, it's just good as the player to get feedback, right? It's nice to have visual feedback with auditory feedback as well. Seeing, hey, we're taking a toll. We're getting our butts kicked. It's just something small that many games overlook. But I can't even say they overlook because we had suit damage in TASM games, okay? TASM 1 and TASM 2. So suit damage is a normal thing. This isn't anything new. I think we even had it in, Shattered Dimensions, if I'm not mistaken? Nevertheless, small, but a big impact. The second one on the list is going to be talking. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about talking? He talks in the video. What do you mean? What I'm talking about is quips, one-liners, funny statements, right? Spider-Man, he is known for constantly talking during battle. He's known. And most of the time, the people are like, hey, will you ever shut up? Can you be quiet? That's what he is known for. However, in Spider-Man 1, when you're, in a fight or something, you don't hear that. All you hear is finisher. So one thing I do like that they showed in Spider-Man 2, the trailer, is that he's talking, right? Even though he's in the symbiote suit, he's talking about, hey, I told you to leave Connors alone. I wish you want to fight, I'm going to bring the fight to you, right? As you're fighting.
Leave Connors alone! Craven wants a hunt? I'll give him one he'll never forget!
I think that's great. Now, I don't know if that's in the final game or they just use that for this demonstration, purposes. But I think they should definitely have that in the combat because it helps with the combat, because especially when the sound effects aren't really as, bone crushing as we'll say in the Arkham games, and it doesn't need to be. But in that fight, we need to have Spider-Man. They need to inject personality in a lot of the stuff, okay? In a lot of the animations, in a lot of the combat in the game. Inject that personality into the gameplay. Number 3 on the list is something very, very minuscule, okay? Something very, very minuscule, and that is going to be slowing down when you're during a car chase. Now, I have a complete revamp. I have ideas for the car chases. That'll be in the medium or the large video. But something small, right? When you're chasing a car, right? You're in a car chase and you're trying to stop them, they have you press a button. And if you press the button, you automatically just link like a magnet, just go on the top of the car. There's no animation, you just, bam, stuck to it. And I'm like, yo, let's be a little more cinematic with that. If we're gonna go to the car, we know that's gonna be, let's take something from the movies, right? For example, I think it's TASM 2, where Rhino is shooting at him and they slow it down as he's dodging the bullets. Hell, even in Spider-Man 1, where they slow it down, he's dodging the blades or whatnot from Green Goblin. So while we zip to the car, we can have it slow it down and see Spider-Man dodging bullets, as we land on the hood, right? Just to keep us in the moment and whatnot. Now, there are additional things I'd like to see in the car chases, but we'll leave that for another video. Number 4 on the list, and then it's gonna be dual takedowns or triple takedowns. I'm sorry, okay? If Batman can do it, then certainly Spider-Man can do it. I think this is well needed. I think they show this in Spider-Man 2, the demo, right? Where you have stealth takedowns where you can take down 2 people, and you have the gadget where you can take down 3 people. So let's implement that in the actual combat and not stealth, where you can actually have a finisher that takes down 2 people or 3 people. I don't see this as a complicated enough mechanic to put in medium or large. I think it's a small but important mechanic that they're already doing in stealth. They can just implement, I'm sure they have, in combat. Number 5 on the list, and that is gonna be something that I have coined hot pocket crimes, okay? And where I get this from is gonna be from Spider-Man 1. So in Spider-Man 1, there are certain moments where he's becoming Spider-Man, and they're like little hot pocket crimes where he stops a woman from being robbed, right? And he's swinging, he picks him up and leaves a note. There's another one where, he stops somebody from taking a bike, where he webs them up and then gives them back the money to the grocery store. Now, the whole point of hot pocket crimes is that it doesn't interfere with the main story or the main mission or even a bigger crime, right? You'd have small crimes and then bigger main crimes that you could be going to. So en route to, I don't know, stop a car chase, you could have a little hot pocket crime that you see while you're web swinging. And in the mechanic that's already built in for the most part, where they slow down time, right? Because they have a mechanic where you slow down time and you can do a specific web shot to something and then zip to that. So you can have a certain mechanic where you're web swinging, you see a crime, you slow down time, and then you go into a little, QTE or whatever you want. I think QTE would probably be the best. Something, once again, that they already have implemented in the game. In the first game, you can have a little QTE sequence. Well, I guess not a QTE sequence, but where you're moving the analog stick to remove the gun away from the person. Because sometimes a robber will take a gun to the person's head and you have to thwip and remove it. So it'll be the same thing. So you slow it down, shoom, as you're web swinging, thwip, the person gets up, a web shot against the wall, and the person's bike is saved, or the person's grocery saved, or the mugging's been stopped. Something like that, and then, it gets out of slow-mo, and you go back to web swinging to get to the bigger crime. I think it's something small that can have a big impact on the variety and the texture of the game. Number 6 on the list, and that's gonna be dodge mix-ups, okay? I was playing the game recently, I would say yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and I noticed that all the dodges, you just web someone's face, right? You punch them, dodge, web someone's face. You get a perfect dodge, web someone's face. All that has to do with just webbing someone's face. And I'm thinking, if we can combine that with a variety of ways to immobilize someone. Instead of just dodge, instead of webbing their face, how about we web their leg to the ground? Then we have an animation of the person trying to get their leg off of the ground. Or let's say we web their arm to the wall, or to the ground, or to the car or something. Now we have an animation of them trying to get their hand away from the webbing, or we web it to someone else, and then we get audio of the character saying, "Hey, get your hands off me, you big goofer," and stuff like that. Kind of reminiscent of the Rhino and Scorpion. You know how that exchange was going, where they was tit for tat, they going back and forth, something like that. Because these aren't like crazy hardened criminals who know everything. They're they're bums, right? They're weekend criminals, we'll say, weekend villains. That's who they are. So you web them to another person, and you have they get in a fight or something. It's like, hey, get off of me, stuff like that. And then you combine that with the previous one that I mentioned with dual takedowns. Now we can freaking dodge. And we bam, right? Taken honestly straight out of Spider-Man 1, where he dodges and then bumps two people's heads together. Doesn't necessarily have to be a web every single time. It could be a web or it can be a stun. Now, how they want to do that mix up, whether it's, player input or whether it's randomly chosen by the game, that's up to them. But I think that needs to be mixed up instead of just constantly webbing someone's head. Now, the last one on the list, number 7, and that is going to be something that I don't see how they overlooked. And that is going to be as simple as this. Allow us to do what we can do in the cutscenes, okay? It's that simple. Do you guys remember the car? I mean, not the car, the helicopter? There's multiple shots in the game, in the cinematics, where there's a helicopter. Where even when it comes to the raft, spoiler alert, where we're taking down a helicopter, we're webbing the helicopter, and then we do a web tunnel into kicking the guy through the helicopter. The same time when we had a Mr. Negative in the, what was that? I think it was in the demo, where you freaking web tunnel through a helicopter and kick them out. Heck, even in the raft, you now take the person out of the helicopter and then web up the helicopter so it doesn't hit the pedestrians. That's all can be implemented. There was a demo, an old demo, I think it was Spider-Man 4 that was scratched, where they had a similar mechanic, where it was like tether lines. They could do that with the gadgets that we have. Say there's a helicopter that's on pursuit, or it's been hijacked. You go, web tunnel, bam, kick the person. Now we're on the side. We have a little QTE, trying to remove the person out of the helicopter. Finally get out of the helicopter, and then throw a web bomb to web it up against the buildings or something like that. It's possible, and it's been done in the game. We constantly have helicopters all throughout Spider-Man 1. Never once get to interact with them in the game. That's crazy to me. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Once again, when it comes to Miles, there's a scene where he does a loop-to-loop. Okay, that's what people wanted in the first game, right? But it wasn't able to happen due to the engine and how they set up the web swinging. You can implement that with how they have the game. You can have a loop-de-loop segment. Now, it won't honestly be, actual physics, but you can have somewhat of an automated loop-de-loop of swinging around a crane or a pole or something like that. They can implement these features that they have in these cutscenes. I don't know why that they don't.
Another one.
Or when you get your new suit, right? The grinding. I always talk about the grinding because once they showed it to me, now I want it, okay? Had I not seen it, I would have probably been like, what grinding? Probably wouldn't have thought about it. But now that you showed it to me, him grinding on the side of a building or down the slope, I want to do that in the game, all right? I want to do that in the game. Something that can very much, you'd have to probably redesign some of the buildings, but you can do that. I don't think it's that difficult. Heck, you made over $6 billion on Spider-Man 1. I think we can invest some of that money into R&D and in coming up with new mechanics and features in Spider-Man 2. I'm just saying. Another one was him touching the ground. This is something that I think could be implemented upon you pushing, what is that? I think it's L3, and you go into a dive. Fine. Once you go into a dive, we also go into a dive camera, where it's a way more closer, and we get that feeling from Spider-Man 1. Or we get it from Spider-Man 1 the game, right, on PS4, where he touches the ground, where his hand goes across the gravel. I think that'd be great. I think it'd be cinematic, and it'd be a little small change but can have a big impact in the player experience. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, those are all dumb, okay? Those are all dumb. All right, this is dumb. Just be happy, okay? Just be happy with what you get. Gosh, always complaining, always whining. Or if you haven't believed, you know what? All right, yeah, absolutely. I think those are some small changes that can definitely have an impact on the game. I would enjoy them. I mean, I don't see a problem with implementing them. I think it would enhance the player's experience. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you're more than welcome to call in during disagreement days, which are typically held Friday through Sunday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Either or, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Okay, that's what people wanted in the first game.